Today's presentation basically covers 4I. Before I came here, I'm always thinking, what can I generalize my presentation and give you a take-home lesson? So I decided to use 4I to describe my story. And the 4I means implementing, instructing, inspiring, innovating. You will find out at the end of the day, a career foreign service officer, his job, both at home and abroad, basically are doing these things, implementing. When you are junior, when you are staff officer, you are basically follow the instruction and implementing your task. And while you are promoting along the way in the career path, you become a middle rank manager, then you will have to learn how to instruct 你要怎么样指示你的 your staff, and it's not only instruct, you have to inspire them. 你不是只能指示他们，你要激发他们。So the encouragement and the instruction plays almost two sides of the same coin. When you become a senior diplomat, you probably have some room, freedom to think of something that can be innovative, but basically, you have to follow the guideline of your country's policy. But you can do that in a very innovative way. That doesn't mean it's a strict order. Actually, you are doing all these 4I during all your career. Even you are an ambassador, you are probably implementing government's instruction. And then you want to lead a team to implement a certain task. You have to know how to instruct and how to inspire your colleagues. In the meantime, because of Taiwan's very unusual international status, in many cases you will have to think about something out of box, but not too much. Out of box to get the mission done, but not too wild. So today I want to share with you, before we are going to the detail of some case studies, I want to urge you to consider a very fundamental guideline of our foreign policy. And foreign policy is different from diplomacy. Diplomacy means you are applying your intelligence, your tact to help the state-to-state, government-to-government. This is a very important notion. It's a state-to-state, government-to-government relations by peaceful means. So any diplomacy conduct, if that goes to war, that is no longer the range of diplomacy. So please bear in mind that diplomacy is a diplomat apply intelligence, tact to help to promote state-to-state, government-to-government relations. But that was a very classical school of thought. Nowadays, perhaps foreign policies coverage can be much broader, and we will talk about that if possible later. But our Constitution did give some idea about our basic principles of our country. So our foreign policy is in a spirit of independence, initiative, and on the basis principle of equality and reciprocity. Cultivate good neighborliness with other nations, respect treaties, Charter of United Nations. This is very important, in order to protect rights and the interests of citizens residing abroad. I'm pointing out this to give you the idea why my future job, or I said my all careers job, to protect Taiwan citizens abroad is always a primary task for all diplomats. My most recent overseas posting was the Consul General of Taiwan to Atlanta. Consul General's main job has clearly indicated in the Vienna Convention Consular Relations, and please look at consular function consists in, again, protecting in receiving state the interest of sending state of its national, both individual and bodies corporate. Again, 保护侨民 is national. And other than that, to further the development of commercial, economic, cultural, and scientific relations. And by all lawful means and development in, of course, to promote the relations in general. And then we are at the eyes of Taiwan's government to reporting the information to persons interested. And again, helping, assisting national, both individual and the bodies, corporate, and sending states. I highlight these regulations to simply let you know, once you become a diplomat posting overseas, you have to bear in mind that any Taiwanese in your jurisdiction area, they may seek your help. You probably should consider that is your obligation. Of course, the request should be reasonable, but you have to bear in mind that if you are a diplomat abroad, to help your national is a obligation, and this is not just Taiwan will do that. It's clearly indicated in the Vienna Convention of the Council. My next task in Russia as a junior diplomat was mentioned is I was there to promote Taiwan studies in Russia. When I was in Russia, I found that not too many people know Taiwan very well. One of the reasons is we don't have enough publication, we don't have enough literature to introduce to Russia who we are and what Taiwan is a country like. And so I mainly did two things. Number one, I imported a large sum of Taiwan books on Taiwan in Chinese and in English, of course. And I remember I imported 500 volumes of different subjects of Taiwan studies publication, and then I divided them by 5, and I contacted all Russia's major library. Their national library, their foreign literature library, their diplomatic library, and the Moscow State University library. And I said, why don't we just organize a book donation ceremony, and then in the meantime we can host a seminar or a conference to talk about how to promote Taiwan studies in Russia. And that works very well, and I found since then many other countries also follow suit, do the same thing. On the other hand, I also urge Russian scholars to either write or translate books on Taiwan. And these are the books I published during my tenure in Moscow. This is President Chen Shui-bian. This is Son of Taiwan, and this is Li Denghui's autobiography, Position of Taiwan, and this is Contemporary Taiwan. This is Taiwan in the East Asian's regional security structure, and this is about the two presidents of Taiwan. And this one is particularly interesting because this is a translation. Экономическая политика Тайваня, Taiwan's economic policy. This is a book by Guo Wanrong. This book was later on adopted by the Moscow State University as their required reading for their study of Taiwan. And the birth of this book is also interesting. When I planned to publish this book, I found no translator. Then one day, a good friend of mine, who actually is a research fellow of Russia's very leading economic institute, he came to me and said he is financially embarrassed. He has no money, and then I said, I can assign you a job if you will. Then I said, I'm looking for someone to translate this book. He was so glad because my offer really saves him to pass that very difficult moment. So he did the job very well, and that in my view is a win-win scenario. So another interesting thing is, I later heard many Taiwanese students who are doing PhD, who are doing the advanced degree in Russia. They say because of these books, many Taiwanese students have a basic literature, basic reference books they can rely on to build upon or based on these books. They can publish their own study. So accidentally, these books also help creating many Taiwanese PhD students in Russia. You have any question? Okay, now I want to enter the second phase of my career. My first overseas journey covers Russia and Washington D.C., but I did not mention anything about Washington D.C. If in the future we'll have this chance, I will try to make up that. My second journey of my overseas posting also covers two destinations. Singapore at first, New York City as the second. But this journey is interesting even more because it features my job during that 6 years are mainly and purely dealing with Taiwan's international participation, Taiwan's multilateral diplomacy. In my own turn, I would say Taiwan's multilateral diplomacy has significantly been upgraded in the APEC and New York City. You probably can recall, in my self-introduction, I told you that I was working for APEC Secretariat. I was seconded. I was sent by Taiwan government to work in the APEC Secretariat. APEC Secretariat based in Singapore. That is a international organization. So Taiwan is entitled to send one diplomat to work in that secretariat. And we are working all together with all APEC members, representatives. So under the same roof, we are working with diplomats from Japan, from United States, from Chile, from Mexico. Does anybody recognize this lady who just recently came to Taiwan to introduce her newly published autobiography? This is Zhao Xiaoban, Yilen Chao, and this is her father, Zhao Xizhen. Yilen Chao was twice recruited by the Republican government to work in the cabinet. First in the George W. Bush administration, she was the Secretary of Labor. And last time, when Donald Trump was in power, she was recruited as the Secretary of Transportation. When I was in New York, and this is the New York's Congresswoman. She was locally elected Congresswoman, Carolyn Maloney, and this is, of course, if you can recognize him, this is Pan Ki-moon, the then Secretary General of the United Nations. When I was in New York, you know that when I was in New York, I was in charge of Taiwan's United Nations affairs. Taiwan's United Nations affairs could be a very, very difficult task because of very obvious reason. So we at that time, I'm leading a team whose members are really of high caliber, and I'm leading the team to do some innovative way. If you know United Nations agenda, United Nations in New York City, of course, that's the location of their headquarters. They from the beginning till the end, all year long, they are hosting different subjects of meetings. Two meetings, Taiwan always sends big delegation to attend. For instance, UN Women Conference usually takes place in March. And so we are organizing a similar event whose topic closely linked to the UN Women's Agenda of that year. And because our participants have some difficulties in voice out in the UN's in the UN's forum, in the UN's venue. So we decided to host similar event in our office, and we also invite prominent speaker to attract UN community members from different countries, from NGO to our office, and then we can meet with them, and we can introduce our delegates to mingle with them, to exchange points of view. I remember when I invited Elaine Chow to be our keynote speaker of UN Women's Agenda. That was very popular, and our office was packed by all the participants. You know what? Actually, Taiwan's office in New York during my tenure there, because of our passion and our very innovative way, they include Taipei's office in New York as a venue for UN event, for UN's NGO event, but not for UN's official event. So at that time, we are using this innovative way to increase our meaningful participation to the United Nations issue. And this is look. In March we are hosting UN Women's meeting. In May we are hosting the Indigenous Peoples meeting, and also we are asking a prominent keynote speaker. That was then the locally elected congresswoman who came to our office and gave a keynote speech. And this is another interesting part of the story. Did you notice this guy? This is UN Holy See, Vatican's representative to the United Nations. They are hosting their event. They always invite us to their function, and Secretary General usually is there invited VIP. We don't have much chance to meet with Secretary General because of political reasons, but we know that he will show up in our diplomatic allies function. So we also use that occasion to at least say hello, to give Taiwan's. Yeah, you don't have a chance to talk to him in a long way. I mean, in a lengthy way. You just say to. It's more than hello, how are you? I'm fine. It's more than that. But just let him know that what Taiwan is doing now to in general promote United Nations score. That was very interesting. But I have to confess to you, when he saw me at first, he misunderstood. He thought I am a Korean.
Thank you for so many interesting stories that you shared. And I just have some questions about your experience. Would you like to simply share what different tasks you did? Because you divided your experience into 3 stages, and I wonder what different tasks you do in different stages, and what is the most important thing or instruction in these 3 periods. Thank you.
Okay, as I said at the outset of my presentation, this is a 4I story. You are implementing, you are instructing, you are inspiring, and you are, if possible, innovating. Most foreign missions, most embassies or consulate general, they are receiving the instruction from Taipei. Taipei will give you a job. If Taipei does not give you a job, before you fly to anywhere, prior to your departure, they have a general instruction. For instance, what is our priority in the United States, in Canada, in European Union, and with a general authorization, you have to exercise, as I said, intelligence, your tact to promote the official relations in peaceful way. We didn't cover our Atlanta story too much, but when I was in Atlanta, Taipei did not give too many details instruction, but just urged us to promote the economic relations in general and encourage the because our jurisdiction covers not only Atlanta, Georgia, but also 6 states in the southeast of the United States. Taipei hopes that we can encourage the investment from this area to Taiwan, or encourage them to open a business office in Taiwan. So these are the in general instruction. But in New York, in APEC, Taipei does not have much to say because that is APEC Secretariat's authority. But Taipei just simply fulfill its obligation as a faithful members. And my job is to give people the impression that Taiwan is faithfully exercising or implementing our membership. New York is another interesting case because New York's United Nations Affairs participation are really facing uphill battles. In recent years, it's especially so. But my plan at that time was to tell my colleagues that now we cannot attend the UN meeting, but that doesn't mean we cannot host a UN-related meeting by ourselves. And if our topics and our agenda and our invited speakers are attractive enough, then we still can somehow reach the goal as a chance to communicate with UN community. But most importantly, I want to introduce to the UN community that when Taiwan are advocating our UN agenda, we are not just play politics. We are serious. We are serious about development agenda, sustainable agenda. Taiwan want to mainstream ourselves to the global community. So these are the main the main job reality that I deal with on a daily basis. When I say I'm a middle rank or I'm a senior diplomat, I also need to instruct my colleagues. Sometimes it requires some effort to let them know why we should do this and why we should do that, and you have to inspire them. We have to have understanding on the same page because these efforts are central to Taiwan, Taiwan Center, and these are beneficial to Taiwan. I think these are the two principles we are withholding all the time. I had then a conclusion. I say that diplomat is not only a profession. Diplomat is a way of life. What does that mean? That means once you are a diplomat, you should be ready to know that there is no wasted knowledge. All kinds of knowledge might help you one day or another, sooner or later. Some of our very respected, my predecessors and senior diplomats, they are posted in diplomatic ally. They need to know how to feed pigs, 要养猪, and they even know how to spade pigs, 把它阉割掉. So you don't learn that. You don't learn that at school. But when you are working, you may need this knowledge. So you may need to be knowledgeable in crops growing, fishery growing, and my experience is health is not my profession, but you just study hard. And I even study life science for life science in apex terms is actually pharmaceutical, 就是制药, and emergency preparedness. And in the end, you will find, okay, your word and your knowledge is enlarged, and that is another big benefit being a diplomat. Do we have? Okay. I want to thank Ambassador Wu and Ambassador Gao to give me this chance to share with you my story. I encourage you to consider devoting yourself to this interesting career, and I hope my story will somehow inspire your decision. Thank you.
Thank you for your wonderful speeches. Now we have